After weeks of trading sideways, consolidating just above $30,000, Bitcoin bulls offering hints that the momentum is shifting. All the while, Cardano doing something very similar while entering the eye of a huge resistance storm. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's jump into this Bitcoin Cardano video, starting with Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it's just most important to start here. A 56% dip for Bitcoin historically, from the beginning of Bitcoin. This is where opportunity has always begun, in these huge dips. And I've just been thinking about so often lately, the excitement that was back here and the engagement that was back there, the high of 60,000 plus, and what has happened in the 50+% dip. This is where the excitement should be now. After we're getting a 50% dip, this is when all of the people should be texting all of the crypto people, asking, is now a good time to buy? And this is not like that for some reason. But I want to start here before we dig into the charts. This is Glassnode. We've been talking a lot about all these different on-chain metrics, that kind of are starting to indicate that Bitcoin kind of has bottomed in a sense. This is one of them we talked about, I think, last week. The stablecoin supply ratio oscillator bottomed and has been trending up in recent weeks, indicating that capital has been flowing back from stablecoins into Bitcoin. Now, the last time this happened, right before the beginning of the bull market. The reason I'm bringing this up again is here's the chart. This is actually the updated chart, and you can see the trend continuing to the upside over here on this indicator. Now, back here, when we've kind of bottomed last on this chart, this was all the way, just to give you just a really, really zoomed out look of kind of how bottomed out it was. This was March 2020, and we remember what happened then in March 2020 during COVID. But this was the beginning of the bull market right here. So more kind of a stable looking level in terms of the stablecoin supply ratio bottoming out, and very similar to what just happened. But this led us into the bull market. And right now we're kind of climbing out of the same type of level on this chart. I think it's really important to keep that in mind in potentially what's happening. All the while, on-chain metrics suggesting that just that is happening. The accumulation has begun for Bitcoin. So going over here to the weekly, and by the way, this is a 1 day old chart. This is the Brave New Coin Liquid Index. It's a day old. That's why you see the price a little bit not right. But I just want to remind you all, this is starting to potentially play out. This 1618 bounce, Bitcoin wicking into the 1618 on the macro, with the 50-week moving average confluent with that area potentially for support. The same type of 1618 bounce happened in the middle of the last bull market. So want to keep an eye on that. Going to the daily, some really, really interesting momentum things happening. And we can see that here. First off, the stock RSI we talked about yesterday, 112 days in oversold. I mean, even going into the last bear market, 91 days. We have the MACD here with this momentum shift, and this is on the weekly. This is going to take a little bit of time, but on the weekly chart, the MACD making a shift, you have this MACD line, the blue line, approaching zero on this histogram, and we have the histogram kind of inching its way up. This is a momentum shift in the works on a larger scale. I mean, you can see the last time we kind of had a momentum shift coming out of red was basically in March of 2020, which we actually just looked at, and you could just see how the histogram in red just slowly inches up to green. This on a larger scale could be happening right now during this accumulation phase. It's something to keep an eye on, because if this is the case and we start getting this momentum shift and the MACD, starts kind of comes down a little bit and we're turning this around, we might have a MACD cross on the weekly in the weeks ahead, right? Leading into months more of bull market. So this is the case for Bitcoin finally getting just this shift. And we have the MACD cross that happened all the way in April. And I really think the worst has happened. Going over here, this is it. This is Bitcoin has this true test in play right now. We had the bounce off the apex of the descending triangle, and we've been just tracking this descending triangle. We actually, on the very short term, have broken this recent swing high. So swing high to swing low, we got perfect support at our Fibonacci. So that looks like this swing low to swing high, support bounce off of the Fibonacci support, right off the apex of the descending triangle. Bitcoin makes a move for it after putting in this higher low. Now, on the very short term, putting in a higher high. This is how momentum shift. The true test, as we look at this chart zoomed out, though, is more on the short to midterm, not the so short term, but the short to midterm, which is this swing high to this swing low. Bitcoin right now entering this lower high area from this new downtrend that we had in middle of June, entering this new lower high area. Right now, the resistance is 36,500 to the 786 around $38,600. That's the resistance area for Bitcoin right now, but we want to see this trend continue. Low, higher low. If Bitcoin gets rejection off of here, we want to see another higher low. This is where the story on the short term begins in terms of trying to track the bullish reversal and getting that confirmation. So swing low to now swing high. If it's here, we do have support again all the way down here, 32,500 to 31,500. Not so sure we're seeing immediate resistance right here, though. Not so sure this little run is over for Bitcoin. We're going to track that on the short-term charts, but this is the resistance area to break. If we start seeing Bitcoin make a move into this area, breaking the 786 around 38,600, getting some separation, then we're really starting to talk about true bullish reversal as we kind of make our way out of this entire dip. This is what it looks like for Bitcoin on the short term. So moving over to Cardano, you all know smart contracts on the way, Goguen era coming to completion very, very soon. This is the weekly chart. We are back above the 20-week moving average. That's a big deal in terms of Cardano because we've been tracking it. It's such an important area on the Cardano charts as we waited for the consolidation one way or the other into the 20-week moving average. And we're talking about all the way from Mary Hard Fork, this huge pump. Cardano's really been on a roller coaster ride to make its way finally to the 20-week moving average. We put in an all-time high, 250, got just gravitated back down to the 20-week moving average, even below, like a penny below $1. And here we are. We made our way all the way back to $1.40, currently above the 20-week moving average. The key is going to be to see how this weekly closes. This weekly candle closes. We want to see it close above the 20-week moving average. Let's dig in, though. There's a lot going on this chart. The eye of the storm, we can call it. And this is what it looks like on the daily chart. So the eye of the storm started. We are in it. And what it looks like on the daily is the $1.33, that all-time high from 2018, to the $1.50 area. $1.50 is just this area that Cardano has just danced with, right? Alongside the $1.33. We just talked about this, I believe, in yesterday's video. That's the first area. Now, the 20-week moving average is literally right. I'm sorry, the 20-day moving average is right where Cardano is right now. I mean, we're looking at a $1.38 to $1.40 area, and Cardano is right there, confluent in the middle of the $1.33 to $1.50 area. And that's not all of the resistance. That's not all of the resistance ahead. The 50-day moving average, $1.58. That's 18 cents away. And we start digging in, though, and we start seeing the potential for Cardano to break this downtrend. And you can actually just see if we plot this upper trend line in a very ugly way, Cardano with this daily candle potentially doing something extremely, extremely meaningful. So let's dig in. This is the 6-hour chart. So first things first, Cardano has broken this swing high to swing low area. This is a very short-term Fibonacci that we talked about in yesterday's video. Cardano is in this Fibonacci resistance. Cardano has broken to the upside. The very first sign of bullish reversal has occurred, and it really just occurred most recently, right, in the last like 8 hours or so. So this is what it looks like, Cardano making its way. But the probably more important thing to watch for right now in the chart is this. If you look at this zoomed out chart, and we have this upper trend line, we actually have a couple upper trend lines, these symmetrical triangles, as Cardano has just been consolidating like ridiculously. It's just lower highs over and over and over again. Cardano really never breaking the previous lower high. And you can just see it time and time again. But look what's happening right now. Cardano literally testing this last lower high that it just put in, 5 days ago on June 24th. And if we really zoom in here, you can see Cardano, I mean, just barely above it. We've wicked above it. We want to see some continuation here in terms of Cardano getting some separation from this previous lower high. But the story is the same for Cardano right now that it is for Bitcoin. And that is to say, we had a swing low, we just put in a higher low, and now we're putting in potentially, a higher high above this swing high in the very short term. The key area, similar to Bitcoin, for Cardano to break is definitely going to be this more midterm, short to midterm swing high to swing low. Cardano breaking this area of resistance, and this goes up to $1.48. Cardano is in it right now, a little bit ahead of Bitcoin in that regard, but it's just resistance all around. Even still, the 20-week moving average, you can see right here on the 6-hour, we're just above it. We're in this resistance area on the short to midterm that Cardano really needs to put in to really start putting in the structure of higher highs now to turn this ship around, this momentum ship, and $1.50 right here, 50-day moving average right here, $1.58, right? So all of this resistance still ahead. Cardano really, truly in the middle of the resistance storm. Going to be really interesting to see how things play out today for both Cardano and Bitcoin. One thing is true. If you go to a daily chart and we open up the momentum oscillators, you can just see there's a momentum shift all across the board with this green candle on the histogram with a MACD cross on the daily. Pay attention to that. This could be the very, very beginning of a very epic shift for Cardano as Cardano makes its way potentially back to the $1.50 and above area. It's going to be really fun to watch this today. Everybody, let me know your thoughts, how you're feeling out there. Is this all a fake out? What do you think? Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I appreciate all of you coming by today. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.